Well, there's a lot of exciting things going on now. And kind of the basis for all of those things is on offer. The leadership that we have. Gary is, everybody here knows who Gary is. And so we have this McFarland plank. And this plank is just a board, but it has signatures on it. And signatures are Gary McFarland, Stuart Granberg, Larry McLeod, Barry Rosenberg, Fred Robbie, George Nickus, Liz Stedler, and now Jeff Jewell, who's sitting right there. Stand. I wanted to say a little bit about the award. It's more of an honor than an award, and it's an achievement honor for about 20 years of service and accomplishment within the regional wildlands protection movement. And all the people signing this plank have dedicated a lot of their life and energy to the biodiversity and wildlands of this area. And they've sacrificed too. All of them, like Gary, have given up, earnings potential in private sector. Everybody here knows the potential, their earnings potential was enormous. Instead, they chose to work for practically minimum wage, if even that, for years, for decades. And it's a pretty select group. And, this is just a small recognition to this group to recognize what they've given. And Jeff is the latest, the newest signatory. And I learned a lot from his bio. Southern Illinois University, and I've known Jeff for decades. Southern Illinois University, master's in education, psychology, counseling. I don't know if I guess I could read it here, but master's and specialist degrees in school psychology. And then at some point, he became interested in the Shawnee National Forest and eventually moved out to Missoula, Montana area. And just in time for the timber wars that were going on here in the mid-80s. And he jumped right into it and started volunteering, and eventually got to work paid jobs with minimal pay jobs for the Alliance for Wild Rockies and Lands Council. His most recent job is Lands Council in Spokane. Wild West Institute, Ecology Center, because no end of small groups that have been doing amazing work and receiving very little reward for that. He's also been a wilderness guide. He's done quite a few things. I think that's pretty much the introduction of me. So, would you like to assign us? warm on cold nights.
Before Jeff comes to the microphone, I just want to let people know that Jeff is the most accomplished, he's the expert, he's the best forest watch activist. He's better at policy than anyone in the country.
Thank you very much. This is just an incredible honor. Before I talk about how much this is an honor for me, I wanted to talk a little bit about the first time I met Steve, because you're going to have to get more of the details from him, but it involved visiting the Okanagan National Forest Supervisor's Office back in 1988, at a time when several forest activists got together up there and wanted to do a little protest, and it involved, among other things, some stumps that came from the National Forest timber sale and cow pies that came from the National Forest grazing allotment. And I ended up on the lawn of the supervisor's office somehow. And a banner we were both holding, and a little trip to the police station that one of us took. I'll let him fill in the details of that. It was, one of the more memorable occasions. It was still when I was a school psychologist, working as a school psychologist in Browning, Montana, and it was one of those sort of eye-opening events for me in terms of my activist career. Anyway, get some more details from Steve. But anyway, this is an incredible honor, and it is for several reasons. One of them is just the names of the people that you heard read off. All of them whom I've met and have been inspired by from their work in this environmental movement. It just blows my mind to think that my name is on that plank alongside theirs. And also, alongside this name of Gary McFarland. Usually they wait till somebody's dead to put it in. He deserves as much as anybody to be recognized in this way. So this is a great opportunity. I want you to know. Another reason is that it's this incredible community you have, the Friends of the Clearwater. In the town of Moscow, obviously, it supports Friends of the Clearwater and the surrounding area, and the members of the Nez tribe. And it seems like it's quite audacious to give an award to somebody in the state of Idaho for obstructing timber sales. And that's the kind of organization that this is. So you deserve recognition yourself. Thank you. I just want to talk a little bit. I have to go to my notes because I'm really not used to giving talks like this, so I'm going to do a cheat sheet too. Right, you're not alone. The Friends of the Clearwater embody so much of the environmental movement, the forest protection movement in this part of the world for the past quarter century. One great example is the work that Gary did back in the 90s, when the campaign to save the Cove Mallard roadless areas was going on. All the logistics involved with bringing people from all over the country, concerned citizens who wanted to save these big roadless areas, in the middle of nowhere, in places where most of them had never set foot. Getting people here, getting them out into the Cove Mallard roadless areas to save it, to the activist camps, doing all the communications or a lot of the communications and logistics, feeding them, helping them dealing with the courts and the law, and there's so much was involved in that. And when I think about the Colt Mallard campaign, to me it's really when the Forest Service's back was finally broken in terms of their will to go into these wilderness areas, because Jack Ward Thomas, who was the chief of the Forest Service at the time, had made a statement that we will go into these roadless areas and we'll road and log them. And this band of activists came out here to Idaho in the middle of nowhere and said, no, you won't do that. And the result of that was, like I said, the Forest Service really, I think that there's been so much less drive to go into these roadless areas all over the country since the mid-90s, and right after that, President Clinton saw fit to propose this roadless rule, and which resulted in the American people speaking in a very loud and very united voice from all over the country to protect these unprotected wildernesses, these roadless areas, from development. And so I just wanted to put that in context because the Friends of the Clearwater and Gary had such an instrumental part in that effort. And the roadless rule is not perfect, but it creates this huge high hurdle for the Forest Service to go into roadless areas and log them. And it's been one they generally don't want to take on. Thank you. But we can't forget the smaller pieces of wild land that are out there. And we're all familiar with them from our travels and from our daily lives. You go out into the woods, not necessarily into roadless areas, or you go into the parks, and sometimes in your communities. There are these little bastions of biodiversity that are small, sometimes in the middle of high densities of roads, that have a lot of value because they might be old growth or never been cut, or otherwise are special to people and to wildlife. And those are the kind of areas that I've spent the past 20 years of my life helping to protect because they're so important. I learned about the science of conservation biology and how important it is to protect these connectivity corridors between the roadless areas, these core areas of important habitat. These small areas are important for rare species, endemic species that you don't find other places. And they're too often forgotten in the clamor of roadless areas, and they're very important. And so don't forget about those places. And Friends of the Clearwater certainly is not. Unfortunately, too often, though, the only official protection for those places comes after the courts rule. And that means that people like Friends of the Clearwater groups have to go to court. And it's usually with great expense, either financially or it's controversial with politicians. Litigation, it's very difficult. And it takes people, it takes groups like the Friends of the Clearwater to stand up. And those are very important battles. I want to finish off by saying that too often there are these days those who really highly value the increment of wilderness designation over and above what it does to protect these wild places, to the degree that they will sacrifice these other areas, these other corridor areas, these old growth forests, these watersheds that are important for salmon and bull trout and native fish that are connecting these roadless areas or away from them, because
they value this wilderness designation way too much, and they're willing to make like these deals, and you've been hearing about them, and letting these other areas slide. Well, I'm very happy that, and you should all be very happy and proud that the Friends of the Clearwater are one of these groups that does not devalue these other areas for some political gain. So with that, I just want to conclude by saying thank you very much. Bid high. Support the Friends of the Clearwater. Dig deep, because they're so important for the conservation movement. Thank you very much.
Well, folks, that's the end of the program. Please hang around, as Jeff said, bid high.